We are Casper's #1 for New Country, My Country 95.5. You probably knew I was going to say that, right? It is Doc in studio. Our friend Prairie Wife is hanging out with us via Skype, and I have on the phone. You may not know his name, but I'm pretty sure you've seen a picture of him. And if you haven't, I'm going to take care of that today. Dennis Cockrell, thanks so much for your time, sir.
Hey, thanks, Doc. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, we appreciate you taking the time to visit. Now, you live in the Carolinas, is that right?
I do, in the upstate of South Carolina.
Okay. Well, now, the picture of you went viral here recently, and we'll tell a little bit more about the backstory, but the long story short is that your wife has been undergoing chemotherapy, and you wanted to be with her, but because of coronavirus restrictions, you weren't able to, so you actually did something outside of the hospital, which is, I just think is like one of the best things ever. So now, do I understand right, you've been married to your wife, Diane, for 23 years. Can you tell us a bit about your family?
Yeah, that's correct. We've been married for 23 years. We're married in 1997. Since then, we've had three great children, and we have 2 daughters and a son, 20, 17, and 15 in that order. And we've been living here all of our lives. So this was some news we found out back in December that Dinah had breast cancer, and it's been a journey ever since then. Just kind of nonstop pivoting with the punches that are thrown. So we did find out somewhere along the way that chemotherapy would be in our cards for us. So that's the story that everybody picked up on. Yeah,
the articles I've seen, Dennis, say that you were able to be with your wife for the first treatment, but because of the coronavirus restrictions which went in place a few weeks ago, it was from treatment 2 on that you weren't able to. Is that right?
Yes, sir, that's right. She has a total of 4 treatments planned over a 12-week period. Fortunately for us, the very first visit, they had instituted some restrictions because coronavirus was just breaking, but they had limited the patients to 1 caregiver back in the treatment rooms with them, or even in the hospital with them. So I was able to attend the first treatment, but after that, the second treatment, it was pretty rough. We knew what we were up against, but actually letting her out of the car and having to stay in the car and separate from her while she's going in for that kind of a treatment, we knew how rough that was going to be on her. It was tough. We tried to stay in contact with each other via text and FaceTime and things like that, but it just wasn't the same as being in the hospital with her. So somewhere along the way during that second visit, while I was bored out in the parking lot, I started driving around the hospital to see. She had told me she had a windowed room, so I wanted to see if she could see me. And sure enough, she was able to see me. But
okay.
We made a plan for the next visit.
That's what I was going to ask you. Tell me about the plan. Tell me what you and your kids did.
Well, at the time, when my wife and I were discussing it, it was just the fact that, hey, I could actually sit back there and, bring a lawn chair or something, and you could actually at least see me. So we just tucked it away in the back of our minds. Didn't really speak of it again, but around when the third visit started drawing near, my mind was in high gear, trying to figure out something to do, and it hit me that if I'm going to be sitting back there, I guess we should probably take advantage of giving her some kind of words of encouragement or something, some sort of gesture. And so I talked to my kids about it, and we hashed this plan with the signs, and just tried to come up with the messages that were really on our heart at the time, and it's just that I'm here and I love you, and that's what we said on the signs. I'm here and I love you. And I just set up the signs, sat out there, and when she got back for treatment, I texted her and said, "Can you see me?" And she looked out the window, and sure enough, she could. And the rest is kind of history. The nurses in the hospital were great, but they were crying in tears and coming to the windows and taking pictures. And the next thing I know, I had no clue that it would go as far as it went. But next thing I know, we're now talking to you in Wyoming.
Yeah, yeah. Dennis Cockrell with us from the Carolinas. He's the guy that held up the signs outside the window while his wife was taking chemotherapy. Now, you mentioned, Dennis, your story has quite literally been shared all around the world. I saw a place in Australia that has shared your story. Business Insider had it on their website. Did you ever imagine what you did would become such an inspiration?
Oh, I had. No. To answer your question briefly, this was meant to be something that was really just intended for my wife and to lift her spirits. And I thought maybe it would get a rise out of a few people at the hospital. But my word, the fact that it spread this far, this fast, it's been a surreal week. So no, we had no clue it would grow like this.
Yeah. Do you and the family have any plans after Diane treatments are done and the quarantines are lifted?
We certainly hope so. We want to. We've never been to Hawaii, and Diana really wants to go, and I'm trying to work real hard now to save up some money and be able to get to go there. So that'll be our victory. Our victory celebration when this is all over. We'll take some time as a family and maybe try and go there if we can afford it. So that we're looking forward to something like that when the time's right.
Yeah, I've seen some of the vacation pictures that were shared in, I think, the Business Insider article. Have you guys ever had a chance to vacation in Wyoming?
No, we never have.
We have Yellowstone here. We have the Grand Tetons. We have the Devil's Tower National Monument, where the Close Encounters movie was based out of. So we got plenty of places to visit, man. We would welcome you with open arms if you ever head our direction.
Absolutely, we do. Yellowstone is on our bucket list, so we'll be there sometime, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, here's hoping that you stop by and say, hey, if you're ever in the neighborhood. I tell you, Dennis, one of the reasons I wanted to share your story is in the world we live in, to see that kind of husband devotion. I think the world would be a much better place if we can champion that kind of stuff. So we just want you to know that we appreciate you so much, and please know that moving forward, our thoughts and prayers are with you and your wife Diane and your family for a quick healing. And here's hoping that life for all of us can go back to normal sooner rather than later.
Hey, thanks, Doc. She's really the story here, and she's everything that's good about me is wrapped up in her. So I'm glad that people are hearing about her and her story, and so I appreciate you having me on today.